In 1858, when John Wolley and Alfred Newton set off from Britain on their expedition to Iceland, the great auk, Pinguinus impennis, was reported to be in serious decline. Wolley's friend, William Proctor, keeper of the bird collection at Durham University, had traveled to Iceland in 1833 and 1837, partly in order to seek out great auks. Proctor told Wolley that sightings were now rare in Iceland, and that he had not seen any of the birds. Wolley's fellow student, William Milner, who went to Iceland some years later, inquired about great auks on his travels, and was informed that none had been seen recently, though two had been caught 2 years earlier in 1844. Milner's account of his visit gave rise to a strong suspicion that the species was not only rare, but vanishing. Wolley took a keen interest in discussions of rare birds, and he resolved to go to Iceland with the same intention as his friends. He invited Alfred Newton, then making a name for himself as a zoologist at Cambridge University, to join him. Wolley and Newton met for the first time in Cambridge one October day in 1851, although they had corresponded for several years. Wolley had recently passed his final examinations in medicine at the University of Edinburgh with excellent results, but he had decided not to pursue a career as a doctor. Instead, he would follow his vocation to create a great and systematic egg collection. It would eventually become one of the largest collections ever known, numbering at least 10,000 eggs. Perhaps in Iceland, Wolley could acquire an egg of the rare great auk. Newton, who was 6 years Wolley's junior, had also been collecting eggs since boyhood, and had kept meticulous records of the comings and goings of migratory birds. The animated letters that Wolley wrote to him during a collecting expedition in northern Scandinavia captured the younger man's imagination and stimulated his interest in nature. To Newton, the North was an ornithological paradise, where rare bird species were nevertheless still to be found, and the diversity of species was immense. He and Wolley agreed that they must go to Iceland as soon as possible and seek out the great auks, although for the next 7 years nothing came of their plans. They were, frankly, obsessed with finding the bird they knew by the name of gerfowl. When they finally set off in 1858, their ambition was to learn as much as possible about the species during a 2-month stay, during which they would visit the great auk breeding grounds on Eldey, a small island off Iceland's southwest coast.